everyone. Today we've got another Bible story about contentment. Unfortunately, this is one of those examples of some people who weren't very content. But it's important for us to see what happened so we don't make the same mistake they did. We're picking up the story with God's people, the Israelites. The Israelites had lived as slaves in Egypt for hundreds of years. But God had just done the most amazing miracles to rescue them from Egypt. God literally parted the waters of the Red Sea so they could walk through on dry land. God's people were finally free, and God was leading them to a new land that He prepared, just for them. But it didn't take long for their singing and celebration to turn into whining. Now for today's story, we'll be introducing Moses, the leader of God's people, and his brother Aaron. All of you will play the rest of the Israelites. Now I know that you are really thankful kids. You know how to be content. You would never whine and complain. But just for today, you have to whine and complain because you're pretending to be the Israelites. Can you do it? If so, give me a thumbs up. Great. I'll tell you when it's time to say or do something. Let's get started. God's people complained to Moses and Aaron that they wished they were back in Egypt. Let me hear you in your whiniest voice say, "We wish we were back in Egypt." Perfect. That's how it's described in the Bible. Remember, this is the people talking to Moses and Aaron. The Israelites said to them, "We wish the Lord had put us to death in Egypt. There we sat around pots of meat. We ate all the food we wanted. But you have brought us out into this desert. You must want this entire community to die of hunger." I know, it seems awfully strange that the people would want to go back to Egypt where they had worked as slaves. God knew the people were hungry, but God also had a good plan to provide food for them. God spoke to Moses. God said, "I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people must go out each day. Have them gather enough bread for that day." Moses and Aaron called the people together to tell them what God had said. While Aaron was speaking, the people looked toward the desert, and they could see the glory of the Lord there in a cloud. "Look, everyone, the glory of the Lord in a cloud." Everybody say, "Whoa." Great job. God spoke again to Moses. God said, "I have heard the people of Israel talking about how unhappy they are. Tell them when the sun goes down, you will eat meat. In the morning, you will be filled with bread. Then you will know that I am the Lord, your God." That evening, lots and lots of quail came and covered the camp. Quail was a kind of bird they could eat. It was kind of like chicken. Everyone say, quail. Not only that, the ground around the camp was covered with dew, or little drops of water. As the dew dried, thin flakes like frost appeared. Moses told the people it was the bread God had given them to eat. It tasted sweet like honey. The people called it manna. Say, "We call it manna." Nice job. Moses told the people to gather only as much as they needed for the day. But some people had a tough time being content. They disobeyed God and tried to keep leftovers until the next day. It didn't do them any good, though, because overnight the manna filled with maggots, like little worms. Gross. As long as the Israelites stayed in the desert, God continued to give them fresh manna to eat in the morning. God allowed them to gather a double portion the morning of the 6th day so they could rest on the 7th day. That way everyone had enough food for every day. Thumbs up, everybody. Eventually, the Israelites came to a place called Rephidim. They had plenty of manna, but they didn't have enough water to drink. Can you guess what they started doing again? Yep, they started whining and complaining again. Give me your whiniest voice. Give us water to drink. The people argued with Moses. They said, "Why did you bring us up out of Egypt? Did you want us, our children, and our livestock to die of thirst?" Can you believe that? Even though God was leading the Israelites to a new land and helping them every step of the way, they kept looking back to the way things were in Egypt. The people got so mad that they were almost ready to throw stones at Moses. Moses cried out to God, and God answered, "Go out in front of the people. Take some of the elders of Israel along with you. Take in your hand the walking stick you used when you struck the Nile River. Go. I will stand there in front of you by the rock at Mount NIrV. Hit the rock. Then water will come out of it for the people to drink." Moses did what God said. He hit the rock with a stick. Sure enough, water came out. The people had water to drink. Let me hear you do this. And then say, "Ah," just like you took a drink. Fantastic. Thank you for all of your help today with telling the story. Over and over, God showed that He would take care of the Israelites. God led them to freedom and promised them a new land to live in. And God had given them everything they needed along the way. But still, the Israelites wished they could go back to the way things were back in Egypt. I know it's hard to believe. We look at their story and think, why weren't they content? I think it's because they didn't pay attention to what God was doing in their lives right then and there. They forgot to trust God and believe that God was always working for their good. If we're not careful, that can happen to us too. We can miss out on all the good things God is doing in our lives right now. So let's be content. Let's trust God. Remember our bottom line. Don't miss out on what you have now. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.